Pollen grains are generally spherical, measuring about 25 to 50 micrometers in diameter. It has a prominent two-layered wall. The hard outer layer, called the exine, is made up of sporopollenin, which is one of the most resistant organic material known. It can withstand high temperatures and strong acids and alkali. No enzyme that degrades sporopollenin is so far known. Pollen grain exine has prominent aperture called germ pore where sporopollenin is absent. Pollen grains are well preserved as fossils because of the presence of sporopollenin. The exine exhibit a fascinating array of patterns and design. Why do you think the exine should be hard? What is the function of germ pore? The inner wall of the pollen grain is called the intine. It is a thin and continuous layer made up of cellulose and pectin. The cytoplasm of pollen grain is surrounded by a plasma membrane. When the pollen grain is mature, it contains two cells, the vegetative cell and a generative cell. Figure 2.5b. The vegetative cell is bigger, has abundant food reserve, and a large irregularly shaped nucleus. The generative cell is small and float in the cytoplasm of the vegetative cell. It is a spindle-shaped and dense cytoplasm and a nucleus. In over 60% of angiosperm, pollen grain are shaded at this two-celled stage. In the remaining species, the generative cell divide mitotically to give rise to the two male gametes before pollen grain are shed. Three-celled stage. Pollen grain of many species cause severe allergies and bronchial affliction in some people, often leading to chronic respiratory disorder, asthma, bronchitis, etc. It may be mentioned that Parthenium or carrot grass that came into India as a contaminant with imported wheat has become ubiquitous in occurrence and causes pollen allergy. Pollen grain are rich in nutrients. It has become a fashion in recent years to use pollen tablet as food supplements. In Western countries, a large number of pollen products in the form of tablets and syrups are available in the market. Pollen consumption has been claimed to increase the performance of athletes and race horses. Once they are shed, pollen grains have to be land on the stigma before they lose viability if they have to bring about fertilization. How long do you think the pollen grains retain viability? The period for which pollen grain remain viable is highly variable and to some extent depend on the prevailing temperature and humidity. In some cereals such as rice and wheat, pollen grain lose viability within 30 minutes of their release, and in some member of Rosaceae, Leguminosae and Solanaceae, they maintain viability for months. You may have heard for storing semen, sperm of many animals including human for artificial insemination. It is possible to store pollen grain of a large number of species for years in liquid nitrogen minus 196 degrees Celsius. Such stored pollen can be used as pollen banks similar to seed bank in crop breeding programs. The pistil, megasporangium, ovule and embryo sac. The gynoecium represents the female reproductive part of the flower. The gynoecium may consist of a single pistil monocarpellary or may have more than one pistil multicarpellary. When there are more than one pistil may be fused together, syncarpus figure 2.7b, or may be free, apocarpus figure 2.7c. Each pistil has three parts, figure 2.7a. The stigma, style and ovary. The stigma serve as a landing platform for pollen grains. The style is the elongated cylinder part beneath the stigma. The basal bulge part of the pistil is the ovary. Inside the ovary is the ovarian cavity locule. The placenta is located inside the ovarian cavity. Recall the definition and types of placentation that you studied in class 11. Arising from the placenta are the megasporangia, commonly called ovules. The number of ovules in an ovary may be 1, wheat, paddy and mango, to many, papaya, watermelon and orchid. The megasporangium ovule. Let us familiarize ourselves with the structure of a typical angiosperm ovule, figure 2.7d. The ovule is a small structure attached to the placenta by means of a stalk called funicle. The body of the ovule fuses with funicle in the region called hilum. Thus, hilum represents the junction between the ovule and the funicle. Each ovule has one or two protective envelope called integuments. Integument encircle the nucellus except at the tip where a small opening called the micropyle is organized. Opposite the micropylar end is the chalaza, representing the basal part of the ovule. Enclosed within the integument is a mass of cell called the nucellus. Cells of the nucellus have abundant food reserves material. Located in the nucellus is the embryo sac or female gametophyte. An ovule generally has a single embryo sac formed from a megaspore. Megasporogenesis. The process of formation of megaspore from the megaspore mother cell is called megasporogenesis. Ovules generally differentiate a single megaspore mother cell in the micropyle.